Do you want to know how to teach toddlers not to bite? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach parenting all over the world through the lens of the principle self-government. I've had biters at my home, and we have cured that, and we're going to be talking in this video how we did that. In this video, we're going to be talking about biting, why it happens, and then I've got some great strategies for you to use with your little biters so that maybe they choose not to bite anymore. Why does biting happen? The most simple answer is frustration. They don't know how to get their point across. They feel like everyone's controlling them. They're a little person, they're a baby or a toddler. They know that their mouth does stuff. Especially children that are oral, that like to put things in their mouth, they're going to go to their mouth to solve almost all of their problems. Food is the most exciting and the grossest part of life when you are a toddler. It's something people keep telling you to do, put things in your mouth all the time. And then there's a point where we say, don't put that in your mouth or don't bite that, right? So this mouth is talked about so much. It really is the center of the face, the center of attention for the child. Everything seems to go back to what we're putting in and what shouldn't be put in to that mouth of that child. When they get frustrated, it's only natural that they will show frustration with their mouth. That's a way that they can act out that feels very natural and normal to them. Also, they know that those teeth do things. They bite things, they hurt, they might have bitten themselves before, or bitten a finger or something like that, so they know it hurts. They know that it will get someone's attention. In fact, almost anything that a baby or toddler does with their mouth gets their parents' attention. The parents always notice as soon as something gets close to the mouth. When our children are seeking attention for us, what does that teach us? If they're trying to bite to get our attention or to feel understood, maybe they need some new skills, some new strategies, some new teaching so that they don't go to that very animalistic habit of just using the mouth for everything. My youngest son, Porter, was a biter. Sorry, Porter, to tell everybody forever that you were a baby biter, but he was. He would just go up to people and bite. Sometimes it seemed like for no reason at all. Oftentimes it was when he was frustrated, but sometimes I think it was just to seek attention. Maybe, just maybe, it could even be that he just wanted to test what somebody else tasted like. I don't know. He was so oral that it could have been anything. But Porter needed help. I knew that he couldn't just keep going through life biting, and people started to be worried about having their children play with him, and even his own siblings were constantly on the watch out for here comes Porter biting again. So I realized I needed to stay connected to Porter regularly. I needed to be present and watching what he was doing in order to really help him conquer this negative biting habit. How did I help Porter conquer the biting habit? Well, I've given you one tip, which is be present. Parents that want to stop bad behavior have to see the bad behavior almost all the time for it to stop. In order for him to learn self-government, I had to bring the behavior to his attention consistently. That meant I needed to correct him consistently too. So I needed to keep him within my line of sight. If your child happens to be with somebody else regularly, you need to talk to them about being present and consistent with stopping that behavior so that he doesn't ever get away with it. If Porter ever got away with it, he would think that it still worked for attention. I did not want that to be the message that he got. So being present is tip number one. Now, I have many more tips that I'd like to share with you and strategies that you can use to help your little biter stop the habit. But first, do you see that subscribe button? Click that button now, and you will end up seeing many more videos related to parenting your toddler or any age child as your child grows. This channel is for you. I believe in pre-teaching. If you want to change someone's heart, mind, or behavior, they need to have more understanding. So I would take my toddler aside, and this is what I did for Porter, and I pre-taught him what biting is and what it isn't, how we use our mouth, how we don't use our mouth, and how we will be corrected if we don't use our mouth in the right way. Now, when Porter was tiny, he learned the 4 basic skills of self-government. These children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. This book right here teaches accepting no answers. I taught Porter that he could use that accepting no answers skill for his biting problem. After I explained to him what biting was and what it wasn't, I explained that he was having a problem with biting and that we were going to focus on that biting. It was going to be our focus skill for the week. That when it was not the right time to bite something, that was a no answer. So we needed to talk about when we could bite something and when we couldn't bite something. We actually took time going through the house, looking at foods and objects and people and places, furniture, and we discussed what could be bitten and what could not be bitten. And we declared those things that could not be bitten no answers so that he would know. Now, there are 4 steps to accepting a no answer. Porter learned all of these 4 steps. The 4th and final step of the 4 steps is to drop the subject. That's the hardest part for the biter. They get a craving inside, like they want to taste it, they want to bite it for whatever reason, and they can't get the thought out of their head until they do it. And if they can't bite one thing, they'll go bite something else because they can't drop the subject. So we had to learn how to drop the subject. And so oftentimes I would tell Porter, oh, Porter, that's a no. Remember, we don't bite that. That's a no answer. Drop the subject. Don't think about it anymore. Let's move on. If I told him to deliberately drop the subject, he could do it. So learning all 4 of those steps to accepting no answer and really practicing them with him was a game changer. If your child bites out of anger, it's also going to be important that you pre-teach what is calmness and what is not calmness. Every one of the 4 basic skills talks about having a calm face, voice, and body. The children need to know what is a calm face, what is a calm voice, and what is a calm body. They need to be able to identify when other people do not have a calm face, voice, and body, as well as being able to identify when they do or don't have a calm face, voice, and body. So pre-teaching that to your toddlers will go a long way. If your toddler is not being calm, then you need to describe it for them. Porter, you are not having a calm body. You are biting right now. We need to go to the calm down spot. In my TSG parenting course, which stands for Teaching Self-Government Parenting course, I talk about something called a calm down spot. This is not a timeout. It's a trigger spot that helps the child remember to get to calmness. I also talk about it in this book, Parenting a House United. So be sure to get some understanding on how to use a calm down spot the Teaching Self-Government way. Toddlers can be taught this is a trigger spot for getting calm. They can then learn how to analyze themselves. Oh, I'm not calm. That's why I'm in this place. Now, what is my strategy for getting calm in the calm down spot? Parents will teach their children how to take deep breaths. And if you think your child can't self-regulate and take deep breaths, be sure to watch the video on this channel about a baby self-regulating, because there is a baby we have video of learning to take deep breaths. She started learning to take deep breaths when she was 3 months old. So your toddler can definitely learn it too. Probably one of the biggest reasons a toddler gets frustrated is because they don't feel understood. They don't feel like they can get their point across. Parents usually have this feeling of when their child is getting a little bit frustrated, especially if we're really present and we're there, we should see the frustration building. At this point, we can instruct our child to do a disagree appropriately interaction. Disagreeing appropriately is one of the 4 basic skills of self-government. When you teach your child to disagree disagree appropriately, then you might initially have to spoon feed them the words to say. You might have to say, Porter, right now, you're feeling frustrated. You should disagree appropriately with mom, or you should disagree appropriately with your brother. If you said, Mom, I know that you want me to go to bed, but I want to stay up with my brother and play a little bit longer, Mom would listen to you and we could talk about it and you might get a chance to stay up. Whoa, game changer! Teaching a skill like disagreeing appropriately will help the child learn they can communicate in a way that is not physical. Instead, it's verbal. Many times children choose to bite because they don't have all the verbal skills yet to do a really great interaction where they can be understood. So give them the words, teach them the skill process, and then give them the words to say. Coach them through it, walk them through it, and show them that it works. Disagreeing appropriately is a powerful skill that even little children can learn. We have a video on this channel that shows a baby disagreeing appropriately. My granddaughter, Clara. It's amazing. I know you'll love it. There's another video, which is a full class about disagreeing appropriately, that I'm pretty sure you're going to want to watch too. It's called Full Class About Disagreeing Appropriately. How about you click on that video next so that you can start learning a skill that will change everything at your house.